In the age of satellite maps and global positioning systems, it's safe to say that most of us have done away with those pesky maps, but our military hasn't. Kenia Mills takes us to Sand Hill for our latest installment of Making of a Soldier, where the troops practice the ancient skill of land navigation.
I've been working on team building skills basically since week one. By now they have some good cohesion. Everybody has what's known as a battle buddy, somebody who goes through basic training with them. They assist them in staying accountable for themselves and reminding themselves of what needs to happen and when it needs to happen.
I was actually a wildland firefighter for a couple of years, and so we had to do a lot of land navigation to locate fires and bring resources to us. So this is kind of a review for me.
I've got about 4 or 5 years experience with USGS maps and compasses and just hiking around.
You mentioned the GPS and the satellites. If that were to ever go down, they'd have to fall back on what's been used for ages, which is just land navigation.
You know, we kind of experienced that in the Forest Service. Everybody's using the GPS, but batteries go dead, you know, technology gets wet, things fail. So you need to have these skills in place, be able to read a map, shoot an azimuth.
It teaches them how to plot the point and to figure out the direction and the degrees to travel in.
The more accurate you are when plotting the points, the closer you're going to end up. If you use the smallest lead and you make X's instead of just like putting a dot on the map, you actually get a finer point to measure to. On the protractor, there's a lip beyond the black line. A lot of people, they'll mark it on the lip instead of on the black line. Imagine we plotted it like a millimeter off and put us maybe 50 to 100 meters off our point.
8, 9, that looks good.
I plotted them and he's confirming them just to make sure I didn't make any mistakes.
Have you double check that from point 2 to point 3? I guess the more information you can have going into it, the less you're second guessing yourself when you're actually out there.
So one will probably keep pace, which is the pace count to figure out what the distance is, and the other will track the direction, and then they'll work cohesively to get where they need to go.
I've got another 20 paces, 19 paces in this, and then we should have 23 paces after that. So what is that, 42 paces?
Just as simple as figuring out where you need to go, how to get there, and communicating that to your battle buddy.
So with this, you know, thick brush and stuff, it's like you're shooting points that are really close together. So you're constantly having to check, you know, your line, which is obnoxious. Just got to stay on task a little bit more and stuff like this to make sure that your line is true.
It's extremely important, especially if they're getting deployed overseas somewhere where they're totally unfamiliar with the culture or the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be coming.
A little bit of a draw.
We'll be going downhill the whole way to it. If we start going uphill, we know we passed it.
So you really need the team to kind of pull together, double check each other, not because you think they're incapable, but because everybody makes mistakes.
Otherwise, they might get lost. Getting lost could result in them either A, not accomplishing their mission or not getting to where they're supposed to be, or worst case scenario, ending up in like enemy territory.
We weren't off by all that much, 44. So all in all, hour 15 probably took us to run through the course.
It's pretty close, yeah.
So it went well. We ended up landing on pretty much all our targets. Didn't take long to find anything, so it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.